In this micro lecture, I'm going to talk about the importance of writing your dissertation or thesis with signposting or navigation in mind. A well signposted dissertation or thesis can help to develop your academic voice, giving the reader confidence that you're in control of the research process, as well as communication and dissemination of your research. The aim is to give you some guiding principles and strategies that can help you through the often messy process of writing up your research. This lecture also assumes that you're familiar with some of the techniques of working with long documents, such as using styles and templates within a word processing package to structure your writing. Many university information or library services departments run training and workshops on working with long documents, and there's also lots of help online through YouTube and various websites. I will cover the following ideas. What is meant by signposting and navigation in the context of a thesis or dissertation? What are the purposes of signposting and writing with good navigation in mind? I'll also cover some organising strategies such as introducing, summarising and cross-referencing throughout your thesis or dissertation. Okay, let's get started. Pause this video and reflect on this definition for a moment. So it is important to use our narrator voice to provide the reader with reference points in a long research article or a thesis. We are the experts in the research project we've conducted, but we need to remember that the reader is coming to our research for the first time. The first 3 paragraphs of a literature review from an MA Education dissertation about student-teachers' development of inclusive practice will appear on the screen shortly. Read each paragraph carefully, pausing the video if necessary. So, in your reading, did you notice how this introduction sets out clearly for the reader the aims of the chapter, what to expect in this literature review, and also why? For some people, writing a chapter introduction first helps them to organise their thoughts and plan the chapter ahead. For others, it may be that the chapter evolves more gradually based on a looser plan, and that they shape the chapter introduction afterwards. Regardless of approach, chapter introductions play a vital role in guiding the reader through your discussion and orientating them to your arguments. Read this chapter summary of a literature review from an MA Education dissertation about becoming a teacher and being LGBT. Use the pause button to scroll through at your own pace. Chapter summaries can also help to signpost the reader. So notice how this first section of the extract concisely summarises the main themes explored in the literature review. This final section of the chapter summary, however, reminds the reader of the overall research question and also takes the opportunity to explain that engaging with the research literature led to the development of more precise sub-questions. So, as well as helping the reader to navigate our arguments and discussion, these techniques of introducing and summarising help us as researchers to organise our thoughts and argument, knit the thesis together, and tell the story of the research journey clearly. These are the underlying principles of why we use these techniques in writing up our research. Cross-referencing is another useful strategy for knitting your thesis or dissertation together. I've mentioned the importance of accurately and clearly telling the story of your research. What makes this difficult, of course, is that research is both a linear and non-linear process. As well as having a clear and ongoing argument and discussion throughout, all sections of your dissertation or thesis are connected. One way to highlight this is through precise cross-referencing. Vague statements like this just beg the question, where do you deal with this later? Or where did you discuss these themes earlier? The thing about cross-referencing precisely is that it allows you as the writer to stay focused on the immediate task in hand without getting distracted into further discussion about ethics or analysis or methods. Equally though, cross-referencing allows the reader to easily and quickly go backwards or forwards to specific points in your thesis to remind and reassure themselves that any issues have been sufficiently addressed or that the themes from your conceptual model are being used as you intended. I want to leave you with a final task which I think will help to develop these skills further. If you're a doctoral student or an MA student, try to get hold of some electronic copies of completed dissertations or theses in education research or related social sciences. You can do this by searching online or sign up to the British Library Ethos service shown here, which allows access to thousands of completed doctoral studies. Choose 2 studies that interest you. Then firstly, analyse the contents page. Do you get a clear sense of what the study is about from the titles of the various sections and subsections? Secondly, read the opening and closing paragraphs of each chapter. Are you able to get a sense of the research journey running through the whole dissertation or thesis? I hope this has given you some strategies and guiding principles to support you in writing your dissertation or thesis. Remember, the dissertation or thesis is the completed research project which you have worked hard to sustain and keep on track. It is important that it communicates and disseminates your research clearly to a wider audience. So being aware of and in control of your academic voice throughout is vital. Okay, thanks for listening.